Good afternoon, and welcome to the Chattahoochee County Schools Safety Town Hall. We are so excited for you to join us today. We thank you for attending. We appreciate our audience members. And our purpose today is to discuss the back-to-school time that we are all anticipating for tomorrow. We know that you are all ready for your little ones to come to school, and we are so excited to welcome them. But we do know that safety is on everyone's mind, and we want to make sure that as you send your child to Chattahoochee County Schools, that the one thing that you understand is that the protection of our staff and our students is paramount. That is our job number one. So today we're going to take some time to share a little bit about our safety measures. And first, let me introduce myself and our guests. I'm Christy Brooks, the Superintendent of Chattahoochee County Schools.
I'm Kaylin Colazzo, Technology Director.
Ray Harrelson, the Chief of Police for the school's police department.
September Wiggins, I'm the district-wide social worker.
And today we're going to cover many areas that entail all of these individuals' responsibilities. We're going to talk about building and facility safety, student safety. We're going to talk about technology safety, and then we're going to talk about the holistic needs of students and children. And we hope that you join us by submitting any questions through your YouTube account, and we will respond to those at the end of this presentation. So to begin with, I'd like to start with Chief Harrelson as we look over some of our building and safety measures.
All right. School safety is the #1 priority for our kids and our school district. Over the summer, we've collaborated with admin and teachers on how we can enhance our school safety every day and not get complacent in our everyday duties. We have a secure buzz entrance at each school. This includes the daycare, the elementary, and the middle high school. We are currently in the process of having video comm systems put at each of those entrances so we can monitor who is coming in and out of our schools. And that way our front office receptionists can speak and see who they're talking to while the guest is trying to enter our school. We have a visitor management system that we use called IdentiKid. It is going to be a lot more user-friendly this year, which will allow parents to come in and even students who are old enough to come in by themselves and check themselves in and out of school. We have our security system cameras. Those were installed a couple years ago, and each year we've added more cameras to locations where, unfortunately, if we needed them at the time, they weren't there. So we're adding some on our exterior and a few on the interior at each school. We have our layer security, which is our external doors stay locked at all times during school, and our internal security, which is our classroom doors, stay locked. That way, in the event that somebody does come into our school, they won't have access to our faculty or our students because our interior doors will be locked when kids are in class. We started this year our new ID badges. Each faculty member has an ID badge that they use to access our school. In the coming months, students will also be issued ID badges, which will allow them to purchase lunches, check out books in the library, and get on school buses, on and off school buses, which will allow parents to track where their kids are at on the school bus. We have our radio system, which is tied to the sheriff's office in Chattahoochee County and Stewart County, also with Fort Benning Police. The Chattahoochee County Sheriff's Office monitors our radio, and I personally know the deputies, and they monitor our traffic during the school. In the event that something happens or emergency takes place, they will respond appropriately. We already mentioned the student ID badges. At the elementary school, we have Centegix Crisis Alert, which is an alert system where each employee of the Chattahoochee County Education Center wears, in the event an emergency takes place, they can press this badge and it will alert the staff at the school. The school will go on lockdown. I'll be notified, and then we can have make an appropriate response.
Great. That's some great information. Can you tell me a little bit, Ray, about the visitor management system? Does it flag individuals?
Yes, each time you come into a school and want to check out a student, you have to scan your driver's license into this system. And if we have any types of sex offenders, it will alert to that, or anybody who shouldn't be on school campus.
Great. Well, we appreciate the work that you do in ensuring that our buildings are secure, especially those internal and external doors, because we know that that is our first line of defense. So thank you for the work that you do in training us and helping keep us accountable. Next, we want Kaylin to go over details with technology, because we understand that cybersecurity and the technology security of our staff and students is very important as they're using our Chromebooks.
Correct. And so we do, on a day-to-day basis, work with Ray to make sure safety measures are implemented on the technology side, making sure the access controls work with the cards he needs, making sure that the Centegix integrates with the intercoms, and just kind of the back of the house doings that are required in order for all these notifications and procedures to take place. For the student side, we use Gaggle, which gives us a deep analysis of everything that is done within our G Suite environment. Gmail, Google Drive, Google Sheets, everything under the sun in regards to Google gets scanned. Our counselors, our administrative team, our safety team, they will get these emails and will follow with the best procedure on dealing with the situation at hand. This has been a big help for us this past year, and making sure that everything on the internet is as safe as can be. GoGuardian is another one that is a filter at the Chromebook level. It allows staff and parents to look at what the students are doing on a daily level with their Chromebooks. We make sure that this is put on the Chromebook day one, so whether they're at home, they're at the school, they will get the same filtering. Reporting can be seen by the safety team, the admin team, and that has been another really, really beneficial feature that we've implemented when doing the one-to-one. We're in the works of implementing a safety anonymous reporting program. This will be an app that will be a very conducive procedure to where you can just use anonymously from your phone to report something suspicious, something that maybe just doesn't look right, and even if it is nothing at all, it's worth to report. We'll be sending out some promotionals and links on where to download. In regards to the local LAN here, we have a lot of anti-intrusion firewall that we have built in, antivirus. We make sure our staff doesn't have the ability to make any changes to the network, so that way when children, staff, and anybody from the public come to our network, they're not greeted with something they wouldn't want to be, and they're safe at all times. Making sure the security cameras work, making sure those things are accessible from anywhere, making sure our technology is accessible from our local partners with the GBI and the emergency management systems. So that's what we're here to do, is make sure that we're growing and adding things safety-wise, and not only just as far as technology, but making sure we're really focusing on the safety portions of it. So we're always here and ready to get any feedback and recommendations from anybody in the public. So thank you.
Kaylin, I heard you mention a little bit about your GoGuardian and your filtering. Could you tell me a little bit about how does that help our students from the outside world in terms of anyone trying to send information to them that may not be appropriate?
Yeah, so it just flags any kind of odd VPN sites, proxy sites. It tags certain usernames, and anything that may get through, we're able to see a whole view and able to dial down those settings and find those IP addresses and block them from thereafter, add block pages and blacklist. So it's a nice feature that is always running on the Chromebook at all times. And the reporting alone is kind of what helps us start using those productive measures and those preemptive strikes, if you will, and making sure that we're blacklisting the right ones and just kind of keeping an overview of nonstop traffic.
Great information. And I know we've shared about physical safety, about technology safety, but we know that there's a lot of proactive means in place also. One particularly is for our buses and our bus safety that Chief Harrelson mentioned in terms of our student IDs that will be issued will be those IDs allowing us to get students in and off of the bus, and we'll know who's on the bus at what time and what bus they're on. But also for our buses, we have Transversa. And that Ride 360, that is a piece of that, also allows parents to track their bus ride so that they will know when a student has left, the location of the bus, and where it's moving to. And so the information for Ride 360 is available on our website. It's also available on our Facebook Board of Education site so that parents can download Ride 360 and they can track their students' their bus ride as an app and find out where their bus is and follow it for safety measures. So I know that in addition to that, we have many other proactive measures that we want to talk about, because for us, people are more important than programs. We know that we've talked a lot about programs that have helped us, but we know first and foremost, it's the quality of the people that we have. And Chief Harrelson has spent a lot of time making sure that we are engaged in training and that we're utilizing the agencies around us to support our people so that they're the strongest that they can be. Chief Harrelson, do you have any information on some of those proactive means?
Yes, I reached out to GEMA and Homeland Security over the summer and were able to get Clint Westbrook from our local Homeland Security office. He came to our schools last week and taught us 2 classes, which was Stop the Bleed and Citizens Response to Active Shooter. In these classes, the Stop the Bleed class was a basic first aid class that teachers and coaches could render aid to a student, whether they're cut or anything, whatever kind of wound they have where they're actively bleeding, that we can render aid to them until EMS arrives on scene. Now, our Citizen Response to Active Shooter was a class that took cases in the past, such as Columbine and Sandy Hook, and where they analyzed these and broke these down to see how teachers, how police can respond appropriately to these type of active shooter situations. And Mr. Westbrook was able to give us some tips that I hadn't thought of that that we can give our teachers in the event that somebody enters our school and wants to cause harm. The more training, the better. And the way I look at it is, there's a lot more people out there that know more than me, and then I love that they come into our school and teach us more to develop my knowledge and develop our teachers' knowledge.
I appreciate that collaboration you have with GEMA. And I also know that you've spent some time so that GEMA does walkthroughs of our facilities. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. Mr. Westbrook will actually come to our school in plain clothes, and which means not in a uniform, maybe jeans and a t-shirt, and he'll try to enter our school to see how our staff responds, and that's not going to be through the front office. That will be maybe through a side exterior door or somewhere in the back, to see if he can gain access to our school without being buzzed in through the front entrance. And then if he is able to gain access, he will see how our teachers respond to him and make sure they respond appropriately. And he also will wear a camera during this so we can get reactions of teachers and students.
And I know from those GEMA walkthroughs that we have already conducted that we've been able to strengthen our safety plan, and that you lead the school safety committees. We know that there's a committee at each school. Can you tell me a little bit about the work of those committees?
Right, so each school has what they call safety teams, and what we'll do there is we'll go over our district safety plan, and in any type of emergency event, whether that's weather, active shooter, or bomb threat, etc., we go over each situation and discuss what the appropriate response is from faculty and from students. Also this year, we're going to look at student safety committee, which I think is great, and we'll get more students involved, so when we conduct our monthly drills, it won't be so monotonous. We'll change stuff up and make sure the students are responding correctly.
Great, that's such great information, and thank you for pointing that out about the drills. We know that we have monthly drills such as weather drills, fire drills, AED drills, lockdown drills, and bus drills. So as Chief Harrelson manages all of that and uses the safety team to debrief so that we can analyze the work that we're doing in those drills so that it can be second nature in terms of our actions. one of the questions that came through from a viewer said, should I come pick up my student if I hear that there's a lockdown on campus?
As hard as this may be, please do not come to the school to pick up your child in the event that we go into a lockdown. And the reason that is because we don't want our parking lots and our entrances getting clogged up with cars where emergency response can't come to the scene. We need, whether that's ambulance, fire truck, or police, we need to have a clear path for them to respond quickly, as fast as they can.
Great. Great information. And I appreciate, as you said, to the families. We know that that is very difficult in such a scary time. But as we said, if the campus is on a lockdown, no one is allowed in or out of the building. And so we want to keep that driveway open, like Chief Harrelson said, to make sure that our safety vehicles can get in the schools. So we've talked a lot about the hardware of safety and the buildings of safeties and what we do in terms of practicing safety. But we know, like we said, that people over programs. So we have to take a holistic view of what safety is and what it entails. And we know that that has to deal with the overall well-being of students and adults. September Wiggins is our school social worker, and she works on the committees with our teachers and our administrators to talk about things that have to do with mental health as well as overall well-being. So welcome, September, and if you could share some highlights with us, because again, we know that if we take care of our people and we are identifying those red flags, that maybe those preventative measures can help us offset some of the things that we had to speak about today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Brooks. As you said, mental health is vital to our overall well-being. And we do have resources available to assist with addressing those mental health needs. We're going to highlight a few of them. One thing that we do offer is group counseling, and this is counseling sessions with groups of students that can address and discuss different topics. Sometimes that peer support can be very helpful. Another thing that we can offer is social skills, and this is communication, nonverbal and verbal communication techniques and skills that we can offer that can help just in general life situations. We also have the APEX program with New Horizons here that's on site, and that's a very valuable resource because there is a counselor on site at the school daily as well, and they also offer therapists as well. So it's a great resource to have. And lastly, we offer telehealth counseling services, and this is where you can connect with a licensed clinical counselor via the computer. So, and that's a fabulous resource to have as well. It's very important that we're taking care of our mental health, not just ours, but noticing if anyone else might be struggling with a mental health concern. And there's different signs and symptoms that you may notice, maybe yourself, maybe someone else, and it could vary. It could be simple as changes in school performance. Somebody could be excessively worried or nervous or scared. They could be having nightmares. There's just a ton of different symptoms and signs that could indicate there's a concern. And so we're encouraging that if you have those concerns about yourself or someone else, that you reach out. And we do have a platform that Dr. Brooks is fixing to talk about that you can reach out and discuss these concerns on. So with that, I'll hand that back to you.
Great. Thank you for that. And as Ms. Wiggins did say, we want to make sure that anybody has the capability to report concerns to our school system. And currently, we have our Speak Up for Safety process. You can easily report anything from the community or as a student, and that is anonymous reporting. You can email speakup@chatco.org, or you can call or text 706-890-6807. And again, we will make sure that this information remains prominent across the school district on social media, in our Thrill Share, and on our website. Anyone can anonymously report any concerns that they may see. But we know to meet the needs of our young people, we want to make our Speak Up for Safety app even more accessible and make sure that it's not just calling, texting, or emailing, and that it is available in our phones through an app. So that process is being completed right now, and our Speak Up for Safety phone, text, or email will also be available as an app as well. So again, to speak up for safety, anyone can utilize this. It is anonymous. Just call, text, or email that information that was on Speak Up for Safety, and we will make sure that it is reviewed by Chief Harrelson, and it will go to the appropriate support. That can be whether it's bullying, whether it is concern over safety, whether it's driving in the parking lot, anything that you have a concern over can come through Speak Up for Safety, and we will review it. So as we get ready to close, we want to see, are there any questions from our audience? I do have one additional question that has come in, and does the school system police work with other agencies?
Yes, I speak with our local sheriff's office and Sheriff Lynch quite a bit. The deputies probably a little bit more, probably weekly. They all have access to our schools where they can come walkthroughs whenever they want. We also speak with Fort Benning Police on a regular basis. We are in contact with Columbus Police Department and their SWAT team in the event something occurs at our school, also with Muskogee County Sheriff's Office. And if anything major ever happens at our school, I can assure you that everyone between Marion County, Stewart County, and Columbus and our sheriff's departments will respond as fast as they can.
Great. Thank you for that. And we were very fortunate many years ago to receive a grant to help us coordinate our interagency agreements. And through that, Chief Harrelson has been able to foster those relationships so that we have great work with our agencies. So if there are any other questions, we want to take a moment and just tell all of you thank you so much for joining us today. As we said, we know coming back to school can be a little bit of an anxious time, and we want to make sure that we remove one area of concern from you, and that is student and staff safety. Again, the safety of our individuals is job number one, and we're committed to making sure that our environments, whether that be through the building, the classroom, the buses, or technology, are safe and secure, and that we have appropriate resources to support the holistic needs of every individual associated with Chattahoochee. We look forward to all of our children joining us tomorrow morning as we welcome you back to school for the 2022-2023 school year. Have a great day.